Again in studio, this one is actually about the picture of software in the industry of working. The working, of course, include millions of users, but it's not simple to work with teams because teams are evil and teams are angry, and some teams are more artistical, and some teams are too local, and some teams are disaster, and some teams are problems in the state, and some teams are graphical problems, and some teams have user problems in account, and some teams use too much applications, and some teams work like crazy. Not to mention that once you hire more than 1,000 people, you don't even know what type of people are working for you. And there might be also a problem in their characters. But of course, it is not simple to work with any type of software, whatever software company or brand it would be, and the contracts are necessary. Of course, also the guide in any language so any human could understand it around the world or what the software is about. But of course, you can make a lot of software or very little of software, and you can specialize more on apps. 95% of company they will use apps a lot, but do not mess that together with my language of purpose, which of course is not too much nature but a little bit more of analytics in standard software certifications. The certifications of course means the layer of security in any type of software system, and of course most of people will mess that together with application, but of course the application it's not software. The applications are some sort of joke, and do not mess software together with that. What programs really are? The programs on computer, they are some sort of software or electronics. And of course, do not mess that together with funny electronics on the web or likes or applications or buttons or action scripts or PHP or Java or nothing from the web. The software can be really built in your PC in the way you want to build, but of course, then you also need 100 security guards that protect you every day if you have slightly more valuable software. Of course, also do not think too much about developers on the net because they can totally destroy your way and how you are thinking about the tools or your studio. The studios are not simple, especially not in microends, and include a million layers of different graphical forms. The image of the company or image of the logo, of course, it's not always simple. Most of people would just mess the image together with games, or that the future of some company or brand is actually applications, but not that is necessarily true because applications are just applications. Once in a code, there are the developers and they mention operations because there are operation systems in software. Me have 1 million doubts about that code, and of course, me also see that as a failure of entire software industry. And of course, me do not want to argue with any professionals because professionals are still professionals on the area of software, but of course it's very difficult in software industry to think about health service. Of course software might be the health service itself, so it looks like it's slightly more psychological thematic. and also how to look on applications that are actually very, very difficult when they mention any type of win or any type of net or any type of like or any type of bust or any type of engineer or any type of algorithms which are again some sort of modeling tool problem. It is not simple to think about what is the next trend on the net because there is so much interfacing for people under 29. But for me, it's much better to put the limit on the software I make for 25 plus. So if you are under 25, you could not use any of our software, and only people that are 25 plus could use it. Of course, it's not simple to build anything for people under 25, and they could search for different applications or gaming on the web. But of course, the gaming on the web is again completely other team. The security in any type of organizations are not easy, and of course those are the private informations and no one should see that. The web applications also mentions legal terms, and of course if you are a software provider you can just mention your license or your certifications, and of course those certifications will bring you some currency. Of course, it's slightly complex to work in any software industry because everyone wants a lot of everything. And if you want too much, me would refer on a book leading the entire software industry because maybe leading is just a fiction. And of course, again, the book is losing in 90%, so it's not for sure what leading means. Maybe leading means just supporting other people, and that's the end of the story of leading. Maybe there is no leading, maybe there is no boss, maybe the leading don't exist. Maybe leading is just not important. Maybe in software industry, or if you have book or movie, or you are owner of model picture, maybe leading is just not important and it's just how to support others. But my films, the films you see here and the noise you hear will not support millions of the operations around the world or millions of operations in software. But of course, that might be just part of the code. The code, of course, is again psychiatry or software, very difficult environment together with the clips and of course the studios that are usually not part of application or sometimes are related with application or programming interface or other forms in web algorithms, which are of course very, very, very difficult. No one know for sure what happens if you put music together with software industry, and on that point me do not want to mess too much with music because they corrupt programming language. The programming language in origin is very, very, very pure and is also not related to any type of medicine. The medicine include science problem. For me, science is some sort of science fiction without yoga because it's some sort of say psychiatric thing. Psychiatric, it's very, very difficult. Of course, on a therapy, there should be, maybe could be, it's possible that there would be also music, but of course, music is extremely difficult topic because include a lot of noise. The Java, by my opinion, is much better than JavaScript, but Java is also extremely difficult. Of course, it can help you with your apps and compilers or whatever code you are building together with your statement. If you are just looking for standard certifications, of course, you might look also for the guide from the studio or the people in virtual space that can actually guide you through the process to get some certifications. It is philosophy how much certifications cost in any industry, because certifications can be for the applications or they can be for software, and of course it's slightly complex in micro ends or type of certifications, and the price might go up and down from day to day because it's like currency. The tools are very important, and with tools you can also control users to some point, but it's more like about control business so that you manage risks in the business you are doing. And in software and applications, sometimes also forget any control and just enjoy, because the software and also applications actually are about coding, but do not mess that together, because then your software or applications can be worth the value, whole value of your applications can be really zero. There is really a lot of different Java structure in any information technology company. And of course, it is not simple with security. The security for me, it's more like a book. And of course, that is not simple. The security process, of course, it's not simple. And there are different layers in security together with value and currency and how to start and end with security, but also some sort of code. The security code and different code in security in every application and every software. And every software is some sort of a program that could also build better applications. It's not easy to control software, and that's why books are very important to manage currency correctly. There are different systems that, of course, might be very difficult, especially any type of government systems. But of course, there is 1 million security on every topic. And if you are developing code or anything, you must be very careful in the terms how you are developed or what is even possible to provide for a class of politics, because they are very difficult with instructions, or they might mess you together with what is legal and what's not. And of course, if you own software, you must know that that is nothing political, and it's not related with network of political work and with 90% of people. The Java can build both software and applications, so it's very difficult language. The applications are actually poor, and it have nothing to do with wealthy people. And if you heard any mention of currency in any of my movie, that was probably the problem of the movie itself, and not nothing to do with real life, because real life are really code currency and not so much banking once you are on higher level, because in the bank some things are really automated, and you can also check all the bank accounts from your PC. You can actually check 20 bank accounts from your PC or whatever currency you control, but do not control too much because controlling usually leads to losing currency, and that's the problem of the control. The procedure in security, of course, it's not simple if you go together with any industry of work. The work can destroy some layers of security, and that's why it's actually very important to build balance. The balance code can balance different factors in programming, and this programming protects your software or what you are trying to build. Trust me, you can try your entire life and you will not build anything logical. And that's how also we can forget about any type of logic, especially in insurance or modeling or movie industry or security industry. There is no logic at all. What Java can do with different language is the Java can offer simple guides and also simple virtual space for different developers. It is not simple to build things with the legacy of Java, and you also have different versions of it. It is not easy to build better and better and better platform. Probably it's just better to give some open code for other developers and see what thousands of other developers think about some topic. Sometimes the developers also destroy your topic and your security, or they could even harm brands. So you need to be really strict with terms what people can do with your license or picture or with your software or with your application. It is not simple to build anything on long term, and that's where me go back to the agents and the quality of the agents for the book. And trust me, it's extremely hard to find uncorrupted agents. Of course, in theory, you could build platforms for agents also. The ethics are not simple in any process with security code, and of course, the code with Java is also not simple. Specifications on the internet are slightly different when it comes to politics or any majority of working stations. And of course, you must be a little bit more careful if you are doing contracts with politics. And for sure, limit yourself and do not offer everything because that might be deadly dangerous. Not too much things for politics because sometimes it's just better that applications and the work in software become unpolitical. Problem, of course, are insecurity and also insecurity topics, and that's where the people that do not share things they must work a lot. Me decided to share a little bit out on console and lead some interface and some apps much better than to work hard on them. But every human can also go in a more secure version and work 365 for the applications, which actually happens if you do not share anything in any movie. Me also include a lot of DVD movie programs, but that's another topic and it's not for the internet. But of course, it's not easy to memorize any new actors, especially not in software industry. The software in origin it's really not acting, and you'll be bored when you find out any truth about wins in software because there is 1 million problems with those wins. There is also 1 million problems with people and what people want to do with their web application or how famous people want to be. That's just a problem and a minus for me. So it's some sort of disaster of what people might look for, or what people want from you, or what people want to build. There are really different inner class in software and application industry, and of course different ledgers of security together with the code. The class, of course, is not simple, and if you use name, for me, you should refer to a book sector. And with name means like this: me might be any name, and the name might be fiction forever. And if you want more about my name, you should read the book. The problems in readings are, of course, different. It includes trillions of millions of problems how to solve or how to guide someone. It is not simple to discover any concurrency or also some sort of function in programming, because most of people will just look for quick action or funny action or some sort of action in app, or they will look for more fashion. And of course that is not simple if we look from general term. Some sort of updating applies in software, but of course those updates go together with the logic and policy for every woman. And of course, do not think that I am against women, but men's are also limited with what they can do in applications. But women usually look for uh, quick things and how to put more rights in system. And of course that is not possible, because the system is acting like a system and is just the look how you see programming, or how you see programming in fashion. And usually programming do not have anything to do with fashion. That's where there are confusions for the female class, any type of class. It is not simple to understand the class in the code, because every coder it's a little bit different, and it's also not simple to understand the bugs. The bugs in a code are very difficult topic, and of course you can mention the bugs a little bit more when it comes to your own state or your own country. But of course you can also look on the whole world, like there is no law at all. It really depends how you look on the philosophy and how the book made all the law, but also how law was actually made from philosophy. And from philosophy there is also, of course, book laws and all type of other education, which is actually very limited. The Julia programming, it's something I was looking for in last few years. And when someone mentioned to me that that's the story of the Romeo and Julia, me is a little bit controversial about that, because the code Julia it's actually just simple code. With the community of Julia, of course, you can debug also some fashion and see how fashion might go in the wrong direction, especially in movie industry or fashion modeling industry. The simple mission of Julia might be action or more action scripts. It's not simple to understand applications, but of course, me most of time would be more for software. If you mention me any disease or any type of science problem, me might think also how to solve that out with visual picture or simple Julia programming language. Is it really easy to build any type of software? Of course, it is not easy to build your own programming language, and Microent's programming language should be not simple for any type of people or developer. And of course, inside should be ethics and maybe also C programming, COBOL programming, BASIC, and BIOS. Maybe also a little bit of Linux and maybe some other forums. Pascal maybe also, but Pascal is quite a difficult language. And also if you are building your own language and your own procedure and security lawyer, it's not easy to think about everything together, especially with the departments of advanced economy and lawyers that keep up everything in different forums in structure. The programming is actually very difficult in any departments, especially any departments of defense or the business defense. The Microent's COBOL, it's actually quite difficult and it go together with the science. Of course, Microents include Linux and Microents feel it is not simple to understand microants Java because there is 1 million language that microants could also build together with software. Also, the language for a protection. Of course, the protection it's actually quite difficult. It is not simple to build simple Linux. It's not simple to build simple microants. It's not easy to build simple code. It's not easy to build science. It's not easy to build code with some health forums that support science. It's not easy to build better applications. It's not easy to build more and more. And sometimes you need to stop. And sometimes you need to make film about it. Sometimes you must share everything. And even if everything is too much messed together, maybe sometimes you just lead with slightly more chaos because you know what, the logic just do not function most of time. That's just life. The more logic you use, the more problems you get. Do you want millions of problems? No, you don't want millions of problems. So the logic do not function. Sometimes you need to open everything in movie and the other leaders can think about it so they can lead better, and on the end the people can lead their work better because some people work for government, some people work for programs, some people work for insurance, and on the end myself work for software, and some people work for yoga, and some people work for different platforms, and some people work for different books, and some people are agents, and some people work for language, and some people, there is millions of different people, and on the end those are users in software, and you should not be too logical with everyone because logic sometimes just destroy the service. Sometimes it's just better to open everything and let everyone also think about the ethics in the machines.